We are beginning now Daf Daled Amud Aleph in Brachos 4a. The Gemara previously was discussing the steps that David HaMelech would take before going to war. The first step being asking advice from Achitophel, who was the advisor. Now the Gemara continues to go through the pasuk and discuss what advice and how David went to war. Benayahu ben Yehoyada, when the pasuk says Benayahu ben Yehoyada zeh Sanhedrin, this refers to the Sanhedrin. The Aviasar, and when the pasuk says Aviasar, Elu Urim V'Tumim, this refers to the Urim V'Tumim. Rashi explains, first they asked the Sanhedrin permission to go to war, and then they would ask from the Urim V'Tumim whether they would be successful. V'chein hu omer, it says, similarly it says, Uvanayahu ben Yehoyada al HaKresi v'al HaPlesi. First came the Sanhedrin, then came the Urim V'Tumim. V'lama nikra shemam Kresi u'Plesi. Why is the Urim V'Tumim called Kresi u'Plesi? Kresi shekarsim divreim, Plesi shemufloim b'divreim. Kresi, that the words are exacting, Plesi, that the words are amazing. Yoav, then they went to the general Yoav. Amar Rav Yitzchak Barada v'Amri Lamar Rav Yitzchak Breder Ravidi Ma'ikra. Rav Yitzchak Barada says, some people say Rav Yitzchak the son of Rav Idi says, what is the pasuk that refers to the fact that David HaMelech had this kinor, this harp, Ura kavodi Ura hanevel v'chinor a'ira hashachar. Now the Gemara continues. Rabbi Zera Amar Rabbi Zera says, Moshe liolam haviyada v'David nami haviyada. Moshe really knew exactly when Chatzos was, and David HaMelech also knew exactly when Chatzos was. V'kevon de David haviyada kinor lamale. Now, if it's true that David knew exactly when Chatzos was, what did he need this kinor for? Li'is urei mishanase. It was in order to wake him up. It was like an alarm. Now, if Moshe knew exactly when midnight was, when the Bechor of Mitzrayim were going to be killed, why does he say Kachatzos? Gemara answers, Moshe Kasavar Shema Yitu Itstagnine Paro. Perhaps the astrologers of Paro would make a mistake. V'yomru Moshe B'daihu, and they would say that Moshe was a liar. Da'amar Mar, because the master said, Lamad Lashon Chalomar Eni Odeya. Teach yourself to say you don't know. Shema Tisbad V'tochaz, otherwise you might say something incorrect, and people will accuse you of lying. Rav Ashi Amar, Rav Ashi says, Bepalga ursa de telesar nagi arbeisar havekoi v'hachi kamar Moshe Yisrael. Says we were talking about the evening before, and this is what Moshe was saying to Yisrael. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says, L'machar tomorrow kachatzos halayla ki yoidna ani yotze besoch Mitzrayim. As it is right now, midnight tonight, tomorrow at the same time is going to be when the Makas Bechoros happens. Two dots now on Daf Daled Amud Aleph, about 3 lines down. LeDavid Shamra Nafshi Ki Chasid Ani Levi v'Rev Yitzchak. Chad Omar Kach Omar David Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does David HaMelech mean when he says Ki Chasid Ani? I am a Chasid. I am righteous. So one opinion, it's a machlokas between Levi and Rev Yitzchak. Chad Omar, one says Kach Omar David Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So says David before Hashem. Ribono Shalom Lo Chasid Ani. Ribono Shalom, am I not a Chasid? Shekol Malachei Mizrach Umayrev Yesheinim Ad Shloshos. All the other kings sleep 3 hours into the day. Vani chatzos laila akum lahodos lacha. I wake up at chatzos in order to praise you. The idach, the other opinion, kachamar David lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So says David before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ribono shalom lo chasid ani. Am I not a chasid? Shekol malachei mizrach umayrev yoshvim agudos bechvodam. All the other kings of the east and the west, they sit in their honor, in their glory. I am dealing with the intricate halachas of blood that are relevant to making a woman pure for her husband. Not only that, everything that I do, I take my decision to Mephibosheth, my Rebbe. V'yomer lo Mephibosheth Rebbe, Yafeh Danti, Yafeh Chayavti, Yafeh Zachisi, Yafeh Tiarti, Yafeh Timesi v'lo Boshti. Mephibosheth confirms whether I have judged correctly and I'm not embarrassed. Amar Rabbi Yoshua Bereder Ravidi Ma'ikra. Rabbi Yoshua, the son of Ravidi, says, what is the pasuk that is a reference to this? I speak in front of kings and I am not embarrassed. Tana was taught, Lo Mephibosheth Shemo Ela Ish Bosheth Shemo. Really, his name was not Mephibosheth, his name was Ishbosheth. V'lama nikra shmo Mephibosheth. Why is he called Mephibosheth? Shehaya mevayish pnei David b'halacha. He would embarrass David in halacha with his knowledge. Lafikach, therefore, zocha David v'yatsa mimenu kilev. That's why David was zocha and he had this son Kilev. Yamar Rabbi Yochanan lakilev shemo ela Daniel shemo. This is really Daniel. V'lama nikra shmo Kilev shehaya machlim pnei Mephibosheth b'halacha. Why was he called this? Because his son, in fact, was also a great scholar, and he would be able to embarrass Mephibosheth in halacha. V'olav amar Shlomo b'chachmaso, and it was about him that Shlomo said in his wisdom, B'niyim chacham livcha yisamach libi gamoni, v'yamar chacham b'ni v'samach libi v'ashiva chor fi davar. This was the son Shlomo HaMelech is talking about when he talks about the wise son of David HaMelech. Now the Gemara asks, V'David mi kari l'nafshei chasid. Did David really refer to himself as a chassid, as a righteous person? V'haksiv, but it says, Lulei hamanti liros b'tuv Hashem beretz chayim. If not, that I would be able to see in the good of God in the land of life. Why is there a special nekuda? Why are there dots on the word lulei? Amar David lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So he says that what David was saying in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Ribono shel olam muftach ani becha she'ata mishalem schar tov letzadikim lasid lavo. He says, Hashem, I am certain that in the future you will give a great reward to the tzadikim. But I don't know if I'm one of them. So you see here that he's not certain. The Gemara answers Shema Yigram Achet. The reason why he's not certain is because perhaps he would sin in the future. Because Rav Yaakov Bar Idi, like Rav Yaakov Bar Idi says, Rav Yaakov Bar Idi Rami Ksiv, Rav Yaakov Bar Idi said there was a contradiction in Psukim. It says, it says that on the one hand, I am with you and I will watch you everywhere you go, but yet Yaakov was afraid. What is he afraid if he was already promised that Hashem would be with him everywhere? Amar, he said, Shema Yigram Achet. He was afraid that he might sin in the future, and that would no longer be true. Kedetanya, as we learned in a Braisa, Ad Yavor Amcha Hashem, Ad Yavor Amzu Kanisa. It says until the nation of God crosses through. It says it twice. What does it mean? Ad Yavor Amcha Hashem Zu Bia Rishona. When it says Ad Yavor Amcha Hashem, it refers to the first time the Jews came into Israel in the times of Yehoshua. Ad Yavor Amzu Kanisa Zu Bia Shnia. When it says it a second time, it refers to the second time that they came to Eretz Yisrael in the time of Ezra. Mikan Amru Chachamim, and from here the Chachamim say, because the two times are compared to one another, Re'uyim hayo Yisrael yasos lahem neis b'mei Ezra kederach shenasa lahem b'mei Yehoshua ben Nun. It was fitting that a miracle should happen for the Jews in the times of Ezra the same way it happened in the times of Yehoshua ben Nun, ella shegaram hachet, except that the sin caused that it didn't happen. You see from here that it could be that something is fit to happen, but the sin causes that it will not happen, and it was for that reason that Yaakov was afraid, and for that reason that David was afraid. Now the Gemara goes back to our Mishnah, analyzing the line in the Mishnah which says, V'chachamim omrim ar chatzos. The Chachamim say that to say Kriya Shema, the latest time at night is chatzos, midnight. Gemara asks, Chachamim keman svira lahu. Who do the Chachamim hold like? Meaning, when it says in the Pasuk B'shach B'cha, who do they primarily hold like? Ik Rabbi Eliezer svira lahu, leimru Rabbi Eliezer. If they hold like Rabbi Eliezer, they should say like Rabbi Eliezer. They should say that you only have until the end of the first watch. This is the end of Daf Dalid Amud Aleph in Berachos Daf 4a. We will continue in the next video with Daf Dalid Amud Beis.